It's Daniel Anthony.
Good afternoon, Armin.
Hello there, Daniel. How are you?
I'm alright. Good thing it's a Monday and no class today.
Awesome. I seem to be derping a lot, and I don't know why.
I guess it's just this week. Somehow the vibe of December is creeping in and really getting to me. And you.
No comment then. I need to step my game up, man. Didn't we had an episode yesterday?
Oh, yes, we did.
So I wonder why we're doing another one now.
Well, then why don't you tell us?
Well, I guess we have a special interview with Jesse Carlson. Hello there, Jesse.
Hello. How are you?
Fine, thank you. We're kind of derping right now, but hey.
Everyone derps, you know?
Like I always say, Derpy Hoof is the mascot of the show.
Yeah, she's watching right above us with a big cloud. Lots of muffins and popcorn.
And the cloud is a thunder cloud. Oh my god.
Yeah, it probably will rain later in the day. The weather report doesn't look very friendly.
Yep. So anyway, before we start with this special interview, we have to ask you the 4 important questions, Jesse. So question number 1 is, who is your favorite pony?
I would have to say it is Rarity's dad, who I think was just named as Magnum. Is that the name he just got?
Yep.
He's definitely the best.
Really? Now, that's an interesting answer. Care to share it with us? Why?
Well, he's the only one that's got a mustache. And
No, Flam has a mustache.
Okay, you're right. You are correct. My mistake. But, as far as I can tell, Magnum is not a scoundrel. So, that makes him pretty good. And he likes fishing, which is pretty good. Seems like an all-around good guy.
Yeah. And I wonder, did he get his name from Magnum P.I. or that other guy? Who's that? Burt Reynolds, yes. Him, because...
Yeah, Burt Reynolds, Magnum P.I. Well, I can only assume so with that mustache.
Yeah. He has that vibe. He has that vibe.
Plus, he wears Hawaiian shirts. Come on. How can you not like the guy?
Yeah, it's true.
That cutie mark and 3-foot balls.
Seriously, what's that to like?
Not sure, but, well, if you're dating Rarity, he'll be a fun guy to talk with.
Exactly.
Okay, well, so what's your favorite episode then?
Oh, favorite episode. Man, I have no idea. I've been asked it before, and I still don't know. I don't really have a good answer to that.
We allow multiple choices, don't worry.
They're all good. How about that? Let's go for the feel-good answer.
Okay.
Okay, so they're all good. I'm just going to put you in the most recent one, Magic Duel. You seen that one already?
I did. I just saw it right before we started this.
Okay.
I sat and watched it. It seemed to be a lot of references to things happening in that episode.
True. I mean, I just love the reference, the Star Wars reference in there.
Yeah, and you know what? I saw the tweet by, God, what's his name? That said, oh yeah, we did that one on purpose, but the one that was from the end of The Return of Harmony was totally by, the other studio. They did that. I went, wait, what are they talking about? And there's a video on YouTube that has, on the left side of it, it's the end of that episode, where they're all walking in and getting recognized for defeating Discord and this and that. And on the right half of the video is the scene from the end of Star Wars where they're all getting their medals. And not only is it like, oh, this is similar, like, it's the exact same thing. They even timed it correctly. Like, everything is exactly the same. It is a straight up, not even reference, almost rip-off from Star Wars, that scene.
We don't call it rip-off. We call it homage, because rip-off is such a strong word.
It's just, it's down to the timing. Everything is spot on.
True. Well, your favorite episode is a doozy, but so my next question is, how did you become a fan of the show?
It was one of those things, and I'm sure there have been several people that have similar stories, where a friend of mine, who is my friend Ed, who does a lot of the songs with me, he sings a lot of the songs for me, he kept telling me about it. He was like, hey man, this new My Little Pony show, it's really cool. And I was like, yeah, whatever, it's My Little Pony. I don't think so. And he kept telling me, he's like, no bro, it's really awesome, it's ponies, but they're freaking cool. I was like, all right, it was New Year's Eve, and, of course we were, like, hammered drunk, so I was like, okay, fine. show me this pony show. And we sat down, he played an episode, he's like, well, what do you think? You want me to turn it off? And I was like, no. Play another one. And, man, we watched like 3 or 4 episodes that night. It's like, oh, crap. I like this show now. Oh, jeez. And, then of course it's like, well, all right, YouTube, hey, let me watch every single freaking episode in a row. Can't get enough. And here I am today.
How long ago was that?
That was New Year's this year.
Ah, okay.
So, December 31st, 2011, that fateful night.
Oh, boy. Don't you just...
That fateful night when I got so drunk, I watched a show about cartoon ponies.
I can just imagine the tagline saying, I don't usually get drunk, but when I do, I watch ponies.
Yes.
I also got cracked on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went.
I mean, one of those few times in the year, and everybody looks at me, they says, you're Indian, Daniel, you can't get drunk.
Oh, yeah? My other side is Chinese, so I can.
Yes, it is. I'm half Chinese.
Oh, boy. Anyway, my last question is, what do your families and friends think about your love for the show?
They're kind of indifferent. I mean, I don't really, what's the best word here?
Be assertive?
Yeah, I guess. Like, I don't go around being like, hey, everyone I know, you should also look at this thing. And, so, like, the people that do know, they're like, oh, whatever. One guy's like, he'll poke fun, but it's like, hey, man, I know plenty other things about you that, plenty other people would not like. Yeah, exactly. Or, the other day, I accidentally sent a link to a song, the one I did, the CMC song with Ev Dog, as he goes by, from Australia. I sent a link to that to a friend of mine, and he was like, dude, what the hell is this? What's this guy singing about young, like, ponies and whatever? What the hell's a cutie mark? And I was like, oh, that was not a link for you, man. You could just turn that off. And he was like, oh my god, dude, are you a brony? And I was like, no. Like, yes, you are. What? It's like, it's cool, dude. Every other week I hang out with friends and play with, plastic dolls, whatever. Like, okay, whatever. Who cares?
Those plastic dolls include plastic dice?
Well, he does, like, he'll paint the little plastic figurines and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what he's apparently into. Whatever. So that seems to mostly be the attitude is, okay.
Oh,
whatever.
That's cool. Same goes for me then. I like the show. Some of my friends don't, but they are into other things that I can't say on show.
Yeah. It's mostly the people that do know are like, yeah, whatever. And the people that don't know because, I don't, like, really advertise it a lot, I guess.
Do you have any pony shirts or swag and stuff like that?
I own no merchandise.
Not even the toys?
None. And actually, Ed and I did a song, the one we did called, what's it called? Friendship is Magic. We did for a contest on Reddit, which we ended up winning. The MLP Tunes subreddit 1,000 subscriber contest. We did that song for and won. And they sent me like a T-shirt and some stuff. I gave it all to Ed. I was like, I'm not going to wear this.
Well, at least you should have one blind bag put around somewhere in the house.
I figure eventually I'll probably come into ownership of a thing or two, but, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
You do have that horse head.
I do have a horse mask, that's true.
Oh, Nightmare Fuel.
Yeah, we were at Comic Fiesta last year, and we see this dude running around with one. He's got this toy M16 or something like that. We call it, look, it's Braeburn with a gun. Braeburn's got a gun. Every pony, run for your lives.
I do have a horse mask, but I don't actually own any MLP merchandise.
It's cool, it's cool. So anyway, let's move on to the next topic. And since this is a special interview, we'll just jump straight to guest time. And today's guest time we have Jesse. So Jesse, how are you? If we haven't asked that, have we asked that? Because I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't think so. I'm doing okay.
We'll fix it in post.
It's been an interesting day. My car's transmission blew up this morning, so
Oh dear.
not great, but it is what it is. I guess.
Well, at least you're safe home.
Yeah. At least I didn't get stranded. Thankfully I got a ride. And of course, it figures that it happened in Columbia, South Carolina, 4 hours from where I live. It couldn't possibly have happened in town. So my car is in a parking lot somewhere in Columbia instead of, sadly broken in my driveway.
Oh God. Well, hope for the best. Tomorrow's a new day, I guess.
Yeah, I've got my fingers crossed that somehow when I shifted to reverse on it, made a huge clunking sound and then rolled forward, it was actually like a bolt fell out.
Oh,
And
God.
it wasn't that all the gears in the transmission, broke.
Oh.
Ouch.
Well, I hope this interview will cheer up your day.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
I knew it was coming, but it still sucks.
It's true. So anyway, before we start, mind introducing yourself and what you do to the people who might not know what you do?
Okay. Is Jesse Carlson. I make the ska covers and occasional original songs on YouTube under the name J Carlson04. I think that about sums it up.
I like your channel head. It's No Refund Productions.
Yeah, gotta give credit. My brother thought of that one years ago. The No Refund Productions.
That's a nice name.
Yeah.
I like to think that if I ever had the time and extra money, which I'm working on right now, making like an actual sort of studio type setup instead of a microphone sitting in the middle of a room. That's what I'd call like a studio if I had it. No Refund Productions. Yeah, that's what we do. We make music and stuff, and no refunds.
Wow.
But as of now, my setup is still a microphone in my living room.
Well, it still works, and we all
Music's still awesome.
Yep.
It does seem to work for now. Hoping to get
Okay.
better at it.
Upgrade, like buy a van or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh God. Anyway, let's go into Q&A. And my first question for you is, how did you first become interested in music?
My mom, actually, was pretty much the reason. She, in college, spent a year, maybe two, a whole 2 years as a music major. But she played the bassoon, and she, I think she was in the marching band, played cymbals or something, and she always walks around, and I don't know how many other moms do this, but she seems to make a song out of anything. She's always walking around the freaking house singing about anything that she sees on the table or on the floor. It's Mom, shut up! It's not a song.
That's like Jonathan Coulton.
Yeah, it's like you're just singing about what you're seeing right now. It's not a song. Just
Shot back.
come on. Just tell me. You don't have to sing it at me. But yeah, pretty much because of her. I'm all into music, and and with bassoon too. The same reason. She played it, and one of my friends growing up, he was one of my neighbors growing up. He played bassoon. He was like a year or two older than me, and so in middle school, I said, "Well, I guess I'm going to play the bassoon." So picked it up. I started on it in 6th grade, which apparently is super rare because at the time I didn't know, but now it's like, holy crap! You started on bassoon? Are you crazy out of your mind? And went all the way through. Ended up somehow seeing it through. Got a freaking degree in playing the bassoon. And,
a degree in bassoon. Wow.
Yeah. So there's that. Finished that up. Then took 2 months off, and then went back and finished another degree in music education. And I am currently a licensed music educator in the state of Georgia. But, as I might have mentioned, my job has zero anything to do with music education. I freelance for a sports production company, and the closest I come to music is running the soundboard during a show.
Whatever works, I guess.
Yeah, but, I enjoy the work, so I don't complain. It's not like I hate my job.
That's great. Always finding a job that you love. They say you find a job that you love, you never work never work another day in your life.
Oh, no, the work is hard as crap sometimes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, sometimes it's not. There have been plenty of shoots where I show up and it's like, hey, everything went smoothly. I sat and picked my nose for an hour, and then I went home.
Get paid. I mean,
there have been a few times when it's the most exhausting thing I think I've ever done. But, it is what it is. That's live TV for you.
It's true. It's the theory of if you're going to work and not working, meaning when the next time you work, you'll have to work 10 times harder.
Yeah. No, that definitely happens to me. For every show that I've done where it's gone smoothly, there have been, at least 1 million that have not. So...
It's cool. It's cool.
Like they say on Electric Brony, work as hard as you're paid.
Oh, hey, I agree with that.
So, Jesse, my second question is, how long have you been doing ska music?
I guess kind of since high school. I was in a band in high school. We played pretty crappy music. I shouldn't say it was totally crappy. Some of it was, I guess, okay. But we were like, that was back when Green Day and Blink-182 were all really popular, and that's kind of what we wanted to be. But we thought it would be fun to have a side project with ourselves. Basically, it was the 4 people that were in the band were also in this other band plus 2 more people, and we had this really crappy ska band, and
like
basically
some alter ego band kind of thing.
Yeah, and basically all we did was play really terrible covers of Real Big Fish songs, and we had maybe 2 original things that we did, but even that was an original cover of another song. It wasn't like, oh, hey, we wrote this ourselves. It's just we've never heard anyone else do it. And so, we did a cover of, Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid, or we did a cover of, Seven Nation Army in, sort of ska style-ish, somewhat. And it was mostly really bad, but it was really fun. So, there's that. It was enjoyable, at least.
Awesome.
I always imagine Under the Sea would work very, very well in, a punk rock kind of setting. I used to have that idea running in my head when I was in high school.
Yeah, no, it did. Originally we did it with our normal just I guess pop punk band is what we were. That's where it started. But then we started playing it with our crappy ska band, and it was it worked well in both. So hey, whatever.
Me and my friends were, die-hard fans of Green Day back then. And that's when we thought, what if Green Day were to perform a Disney song? Which one would be the best? And we decided it would be Under the Sea.
But the Sea?
That is basically exactly what we said to ourselves. Is we sat around and we're like, hey, what would be awesome to do? And one of the guys, he just happened to know a lot of the Disney songs. His dad teaches musicals and stuff. He's a piano teacher and does musicals, and so he just knew how to play a lot of these songs on guitar. I was like, hey, what if we did a cover of like Under the Sea or something. It would be hilarious because it would be in the style of like Green Day or whatever, and that's how it happened.
But Under the Sea has a reggae feel to it, right?
The original, yeah, kind of. It's not quite a punk feel.
Yeah, but if I'm guessing right, Under the Sea it had a reggae kind of feel, and ska music has a reggae vibe to it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it does.
Reggae, Rastafari kind of thing.
Yeah, that's where it came from. Its origins are from reggae, and so there's a couple different, not different genres, I guess like sub-genres, but it's split up into basically the original bit of ska was straight up, from like reggae. Like in the 60s, it was very, very close to. I mean, you could tell its roots are in reggae, that kind of stuff. And then, towards the like 70s, 80s, another type came around, and it was called two-tone. And, things started moving a little faster. Like if you listen to, there's a band called the Toasters, and they play a lot of stuff that's in that kind of, two-tone style. Moving faster, and then into the 90s, late 80s, 90s, where you got bands like Real Big Fish and No Doubt, and the bands that people now would say, oh yeah, ska band, okay, yeah, I know them, was into the movement they call third wave, and it kind of includes basically everything under the sun. Like it's a big umbrella that's got, ska, and then like ska punk, which is basically exactly what it sounds like. It just combines the two things. Where
hybrid genres came out a lot then as well.
Yeah, and that's
Linkin Park
exactly
had this rock and rap kind of thing going on.
Right, and that's exactly what it is. But that would still fall under third wave, and so they're under saying ska is like saying rock. Well, yeah, there's a bunch of different types of rock. There's different types of, rap or hip hop. There's different types of, there's different types of anything that you say is like an umbrella term for that genre.
True.
And so, this, all the stuff we did, all we knew, we didn't listen to anything from, way back when. So all the things we knew, all we listened to was, like Real Big Fish and No Doubt and Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, that kind of stuff, the Toasters and whatever. So that's all we knew, and that's what we did. And it's fun because for us, hey, ska punk, that's combining the two things that we want to do. So makes sense.
True. And before we move on, I have to give a big shout out to Gogo Berdelo's gypsy ska music.
Oh yeah, who is it? Oh gosh.
The artist's name is Gogo Berdelo because he plays gypsy ska music, and I think one of his track is Keep Thinking Purple, something like that. I don't really remember, but he has an interesting sound to him. Like he plays ska, but it's also gypsy.
Well, that's like and I'm totally forgetting his name. I'm blanking on it big time. He did the original of the Gypsy Bard song from the last Friendship is Witchcraft. I'm totally blanking on his name, but there's a lot of the similarities there. So I know Griffin, the guy that makes all those episodes, he writes all the songs for it, is a big time ska fan. He's actually the one he told me about this band, Streetlight Manifesto, who they're fairly new. They came out in the early
2006, I think.
2000s.
If I'm not mistaken, Streetlight Manifesto, their lead guitarist is Tom Morello?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Because
he was the guy that was the front man for Catch-22.
Tom
was another big ska band, but Streetlight themselves are not terribly old. And he's the one that told me about them and all these other things. So he is a big ska fan. So there's things that he does. 2002 is when Streetlight started.
Okay.
So the things that he does, you can hear it in music he makes, like the Gypsy Bard song. I think it worked out really well, and I think Lennik something with an L.
Yeah,
Gosh, I feel terrible.
Russian name. I don't know Russian, so Lin something.
Yeah, but it worked out. It was awesome. That gypsy ska sound. I mean, it's really, really cool sound.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, ska music is not really well known in the brony fandom, and
Right.
I think you're the only person that's doing it, that's well known for it.
I think that's right. I don't know of any other people that are doing it. There was, and I think I've only seen even. I think I might be the only person that does it regularly, and even from other artists, I've only seen maybe one or two people even do like a ska song, period, other than me. Like I know there's an artist, Music by Octavia. He did a ska arrangement of the BBBFF song, and I think that's the only one I really know of, other than the stuff that I do. And what makes me, I guess, kind of laugh about that is that all these songs that I do, people will be like, "Oh man, this is great. Why isn't there more ska in the fandom? Why aren't more people doing this? More people should definitely do this." Or it's either that response, or people say, "I have no idea what ska is."
Yeah, but now you have one more to add. Like my favorite one would be, "Oh, Jesse's done it better. You're just a copycat."
I mean, I don't know if I would say that, but it's whenever people say I don't even know what this is when it makes me go, "Oh yeah, this is kind of a not mainstream genre that I'm doing." Like no wonder not a lot of people do it, because not a lot of people know about it, I guess.
That's true.
And again, that's back to my own like skewed viewpoint. That's what I listened to in high school. So for whatever reason, I just assumed so did everyone else. But I guess obviously not. And it's just one of those things that was never hugely popular, but people seem to like it. They just don't listen to it much. I don't know.
It's true. We need more ska music in the fandom.
Yeah, and it's not just ska, it's all the niche genres. Currently, we all can tell it's being dominated by dubstep. And, it's like Balloon Party has 75 tracks to date, I think, or even more. And all these other big, club kind of music. Even Brony Palooza, which is at BronyCon every year, it's being filled with a lot of club music. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but we have that one person who did the gypsy jazz cover of Pinky's Brew, and I think he became pretty famous for that.
Yeah,
I think that was him, same guy, Lennik. Gosh, I'm saying it wrong. I'm sure I am. Oh no, it's spelled Lenich. So however you pronounce that,
Lennik. I don't know.
He did that cover of it, and I think, or maybe I'm just totally remembering.
No, he did. He did.
He might have done the guitar in the original of it, but he definitely did the gypsy jazz cover of it. And man, it's great. It's great, and it lends itself very well to ska, like the one I did, which ended up for whatever reason being hugely popular. And it's like, man, I don't know why more people don't do it, because people always seem to enjoy it, and it's not terribly difficult to do.
Well,
Even if you don't have all, live horns and this and that, it's not really difficult. If you've got access to all these other electronic things, you've probably got access to some horn sounds,
Uh-huh.
so at least do them electronically. I mean, heck, the saxophone that I use is electronic. I don't have a saxophone or can really play it that well.
Well, it's the basis of, I'm not sure how to do this, so I'm not going to touch on it.
But see, that's what I like about the fandom is that why not? You don't really know how to do it, but give it a shot. If it's something you want to do, go for it, because probably people will hear it and go like, hey man, that's kind of cool. Like, it's not totally perfect, but that's pretty cool. Maybe try this next time or whatever. But still, glad you tried.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Because
it's worth trying. Nothing to lose, really.
Yeah, it's exactly. There's nothing to lose. Nobody in the fandom is ever like, "Hey, that sucked. Go away."
People have done that, actually, but, haters gonna hate kind of thing.
Well, that's not the like overall mindset. That's the exception. The main feeling is, freaking go for it. You want to try it, do it, and they'll be like, "Hey, glad you tried."
it's true. Anyway, my next question is, how long does it take you to finish a track?
That's kind of a loaded question because it really depends on the track. Some of them take, a day. Some of them take months. It basically depends on my interest level in the project. I seem to have like music ADD, where if I'm not just totally locked in, like, yes, I want to do this, I'll kind of do a little bit of it and go, hey, something shiny, I'll go over there. And so, like I did that, or I attempted to make that, music video for the cover I did of Mad World.
Ah, yes.
And the actual track that I did for Mad World, man, I think that took me like 2.5, 3 hours total to make. I mean, it just flew by. I got up in the morning and went, yeah, I had already decided I wanted to do it. I was really into it, and it happened so fast. Everything just fell into the right place. Everything went perfect, and it took me almost no time at all to make that track.
Yeah, I love that cover. I heard it, and I was like, wait, what? Is this Mad World? Because I kept my SoundCloud just playing tracks, and then it happened to go to your profile because I was listening to the other Pony music there, and then I heard, what? Wait, how come Mad World sounds like this now?
Yeah, and it was one of those ones that everything went right, and it took me just a couple of hours to make. But it's not a very complex song. It's not very long, and everything went right. I was very interested in it, and it all happened. But then there's things like Winter Wrap-Up that took me like months to do because I would do a little bit at a time and just lose interest and do something else. Or, same with the CMC one. It just took forever to do, and not from lack of interest necessarily, just, complications came up. We would get busy. Things just took a while to do. That one took months to do just because of our schedules. Things just didn't get done.
Oh, okay.
Or like Flim Flam. That one took me a while just because of how complex it was. Like sitting down and listening to that song and writing out all these parts by ear. It's like, yeah, I mean, it took a while to do just to figure out all the parts and then learn them and play them.
Oh my!
It was a fairly lengthy process. Actually recording it wasn't too terrible, but all the pre-recording stuff was fairly involved for that song. So yeah, it depends. Or like the best one I can think of, that same song, "Friendship is Magic." Ed and I decided to do that on like a Sunday. We said, yeah, let's do this, and then by Monday night, I had finished the instrumental track for it and sent it to him. And by Tuesday afternoon, the whole track was done. Like in 2 days, we just completely made up this song, and it just, another one of those things. Everything fell into place. The interest level was really high. There was nothing shiny near me, so I didn't get distracted, and it just all went really quickly.
Oh.
Those are really fun because it's surprising.
Okay, wow, that is a very in-depth answer because usually when we ask those questions to a musician, they never have a solid answer. But wow,
Yeah, I can't get a square-on answer for like 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour.
Oh no, it's never a set time. It depends completely on interest level and number of distractions that I'm willing to look at.
I think boredom also plays a part because back in high school, I also used to write music. And sometimes we did 2 hours and a teacher doesn't come to school. I just floor down and write a whole song in my exercise book. And then like sometimes now I've lost my creative spirit. It's been months and I can't even write a song.
And, there are times where I'll sit down and be like, man, I'm bored. I'll do some music. So I'll get out, the guitar or something and start playing. I'm like, I don't want to do this either.
Yeah.
I'm bored, but I'd really rather just stare at the wall and complain about being bored than do something.
oh my. Well,
one of those days,
Like they always say, have you ever been in the situation where you have so many important things to do, you just want to sit down and take a nap?
yes. I have those moments. I have those moments when I'm editing the show.
Daily basis?
Yep.
Yes. Oh, you know how it goes.
Yeah. It's an important job. I should finish this, but nope. I'm going to go to bed and take a nap.
Yeah. Oh, hey, something shiny. I'm
oh, yeah.
over there for a while. Oh, look at that. Hey.
Oh, it's like, I do 5 minutes of work and I'm thirsty. I should make a drink. Go downstairs, make a drink, and talk to sister. Hey, sister, how are you? Sit down with her, watch TV.
It's the same as any student who has ever had to study for a test.
Oh, yes.
I need to do this? Well, I'd rather do any of 1,000 other things, Oh, study for a test? I really need to pick my nose for a minute. Study for a test? I think I should go stare at the refrigerator,
Procrastination.
It's like, I should study for a test. No, I'm hungry. Open refrigerator. No food to eat. Fine. Go back study. 5 minutes later, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
No food in the fridge.
Let me just check. I'm hungry. Let me go check. Oh, the refrigerator's empty. Okay, I'll go study. I should go see what's in the refrigerator. Oh, yeah, it's empty. I forgot.
It's like The Sims, it automatically restocks.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, interestingly enough that you say guitar. So, what instruments do you play other than the guitar?
Well, I already said I have the bassoon, but bassoons are very expensive, and I have never been able to afford my own. I've always had to play an instrument that was provided to me by, whatever school I was at. So unfortunately, now I am without one.
I thought, being a degree student, you will need to own one?
It depends. Some places might require you to. The school I went to did not.
Okay.
And they're expensive. The instrument I played on has a list price of $12,000.
Oh, God.
A bassoon is $12,000.
Yeah. And
I thought the piano was bad.
Well, and I did a lot of contrabassoon playing, which is, twice as much instrument, but somehow costs more than twice as much. The contrabassoon I played on has a list price of, I think, $26,000.
I thought a contrabassoon is just a bassoon which is 1 octave lower. Isn't that the case?
That is correct. But it's more than twice as much money.
Okay.
Oh, my.
So, it's just extraordinarily expensive, and I could never afford one myself. My family could never afford to give me one, and so here I am. I just don't own one. I'd love to have one, but I can't afford it.
I mean, especially
since my transmission exploded, I got to buy a freaking car instead of an instrument.
Oh gosh, no.
What about on the cheapest side? How low can a bassoon price go for a entry level unit?
Now, that's the other end of the problem, and this is where I'm gonna flex my nerd muscles a bit. When you get, and it's true of any instrument, but not all instruments is it this drastic. When you go lower in price, obviously the quality also goes lower. But the lower priced bassoons, the problem that happens a lot is, band directors, people in charge of music programs, they'll go, well, why the hell would I pay $12,000 for a bassoon if I can get one for $2,000, $1,000, whatever? This one says it's, great deal. But you get those instruments, and they're just total pieces of crap, Like, they won't play in tune, they can't stay together, they fall apart, things come off of them, and it's just, you're creating more problems, because when you have something that's that low quality, you're going to put off anyone that tries to play it. They'll try and do it and go, oh man, I really suck at this, I'm not going to do it. Well, no, you don't suck at it. The instrument sucks at being an instrument.
Okay.
It's like going out and saying, hey, I want to learn to play the guitar. And instead of buying like a, $200 used guitar, it's a reasonable price, whatever, you can get a damn good instrument for $200. You go out to the store and say, nope, I'm going to spend $10 and get a guitar. Why would I spend $200 if I can get a $10 guitar? Well, guess what? That $10 guitar is like bent in half. Of course it sounds like...
What a thing to say!
It's a $10 guitar. You don't suck. The instrument does.
$10 guitars exist?
These things require a bit of investment. They just cost that much. I'm sorry, they do.
Yeah, they do.
And so when you get shoddy instruments, you get shoddy results. And that's just one of those things,
I mean, $10 guitars do exist, Norman, and I've seen some of them in second-hand pawn shops, and that I would buy it, but I don't perform with a guitar, because when I perform on an instrument, it's solely for my entertainment. So basically, I just go wild with it. I have a broken guitar upstairs.
And I mean, that's one thing. And if you know that that's what you're getting yourself into, then that's fine. But the problem is that a lot of times, parents will go and they'll go out and it's like, oh, you want to play clarinet? Okay, well, you could go get like a Selmer clarinet or something reasonable, but instead they'll go and buy like the Walmart or Sears brand, like, hey, yeah, why would I go spend this much money on an instrument when I can go to Walmart and buy one for, $100? I don't need to spend $1,000. I'll spend $100.
Well,
and you get an instrument that it doesn't even seal properly. When you put down the keys, air still comes out. Like, it doesn't function the way that it's supposed to function. I mean, that'd be like getting a car that when you press the gas pedal in drive, it goes to the right.
Oh, God, no.
That's not correct. It's not how it's supposed to work. So, of course, it turns you off. You don't want to do it. If you went for your driver's test and they gave you, a bicycle instead of a car, you might have some problems because that's not the right thing. And so that's kind of how it happens. You get these crappy instruments and kids go, hey, I suck at this. I don't want to do it. Well, you started off with a crappy thing. So,
I mean, I could understand the parents' point of view because, like, instead of, like, the clarinet, like you said, go to Walmart and buy $100 clarinet. So, child, practice this and prove to me that you can play the clarinet. And once you've proven, we'll go buy the $1K clarinet. I mean, it could be those kind of situations.
I understand that too, because it is a big investment, and it's a big leap to take to say, oh well, here's $1,000 on something you might not want to actually do. I mean, it's like saying, oh, you want to be, you want to be a marathon runner. Okay, well, you've never trained a day in your life, so here's a pair of, flip-flops. Go run 5 miles and prove to me that you can do it. I know you've never run a day in your life, but go run 5 miles and prove to me that you can then run a 2-mile marathon. It's impossible. Like when you do that, you set yourself up for failure, and it's not good from every angle. Like, yeah, okay, maybe the only good is that the parents saved some money, but in the long run, it's very likely that they're not going to, because that kid's going to give up, and they'll either have to return the instrument if they can, or they'll have just eaten $100 because they can't get rid of it, because it's such a piece of crap, no one else wants it.
But the trouble is sometimes, like, okay, basically the piano that I've got we went and bought a second-hand model, so it's fine. We just went to the shop, and then my parents told me, all right, pick the piano you want. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this one out. No, this one is just problems with the pedals. The next one, oh, this is problem with the pedals. And I settled on one, this is perfect, this is great, this is worked. He said, that's the most expensive one at the shop. And I'm like, okay, fine. We can settle for the other two on the other side. So go for those two, both were 10,000 ringgit, which is about $3,000 to $4,000. So we were trying out both the pianos, playing a bit on them, and I said, this one, both of them have problems. Both of them are dysfunctional in the pedals. And they said that, don't worry about that, you get it, a piano, they'll go and send it to the workshop and tune it up. I said, like a car or something? And by the time we got the piano, it came to the house, and I was so excited. I started playing, and I realized nothing was changed. It's still the piece of crap that it was because it wasn't properly fixed.
But, again, the big important part is that you knew that. You knew enough already to know that something was wrong with the instrument. You didn't start playing that and go, oh gosh, this doesn't sound right. I must be doing something wrong. It must be my fault. You knew that it was the piano. And the problem when you start, like if it was your first ever piano, you've never played the piano before in your life, and your parents went out and got you one that was, full of bullet holes and half the strings were broken and the pedals fell off when you looked at them funny, you might be like, oh God, I did this. I'm terrible at the piano. But any reasonable person would come up and go, no man, this piano is made of firewood. You should throw it in the garbage. So that's the big problem, is that you knew that instrument was not great, but you still had the desire to use it, and that's awesome.
It's not really the desire, because what happened is I needed a better piano so I could pass my grade 8. As I was playing on a digital piano, and I love the digital piano.
Yeah.
And they said, you need to upgrade, and I was like, oh, I don't want to upgrade, but I have to, so had to get it.
Yeah.
But again, you knew that, but imagine if it was your first ever time playing the piano and you were given one that you didn't know was broken. And so you might think, there's something, I'm playing it wrong. I'm not good at it. But
yes, I had
in reality, it's the instrument itself. You're not doing it wrong. It's doing it wrong. So that's what's the
parents tend to have this conception where don't blame the instrument. A bad carpenter blames his tools, Daniel. And they always say that to me.
Yeah, no, it's... Yeah. And I get that, Sure, yeah, a top-level professional could probably polish a turd and make it presentable.
But
man, sometimes you can't. You polish it, and it's still brown. Like, it's poop. Poop's poop. What are you going to do with that?
Because very good pianists have come to my house, and, they're like, hey, can I try out? And then they have a piano. Oh, hey, he's good at the piano, Daniel. Why don't you let him see? Why don't you open it up? He shows what he can do, and he starts playing it so well. And he's like, he can play. Why can't you?
But he complained that, oh man, this is short up, man.
He did. I mean, if I were invited to a friend's house to play their piano, I wouldn't complain about their piano.
True indeed.
And I've never done that because I have a friend with an 8-foot grand piano in the house that is slightly detuned, but I shut up about it.
Well, you should tell them, like, hey, this is a bit detuned. Maybe you should go tune it up or something.
No,
they know.
They already closed it off because they know it's detuned.
Oh, no wonder. Anyway,
it's only for looking at, not for...
Yeah. But like you said, Jesse, if a musician, a good musician, can turn a third into something good, a third is still a third, no matter how it would.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, and there's all kinds of things like that. Yes, a professional trumpet player could go and get the $10, dented as crap pawn shop trumpet and play something that sounds okay on it. But if you give that to Johnny, 6th grade student, he's going to sound like the trumpet looks.
True.
And, he might sound like that on a good trumpet too, but at least with a good trumpet, he has a chance of getting better.
That's true. It's true. And the shot-up piano with the gunshot thing with whatever bullet holes, I think that shows character. And a piano with gunshot, like, what's the history of that?
Bar piano. It's like involving one heck of a bar fight.
But yeah, sure, the piano can look all beat up, but it's, as long as it still functions okay, or whoever is playing it can still play it okay, then, to each his own, I guess, whatever.
I wanted to get a honky-tonk piano, but
my
parents didn't approve of it, because I like the honky-tonk sound.
Oh.
Well, it sounds to me like maybe your friend has a honky-tonk piano.
Wait, what do you mean, my friend?
Just being a little bit detuned,
Oh, no, he had an 8-foot grand.
My 8-foot grand honky-tonk piano.
Anyway, Daniel, you have any questions?
Yes, I do. Just give me a second to pull it up. So, you said that you love your music, you do it recorded, and last time we talked to you, which was on Brony time, you also mentioned something about using software to do some music as well, right?
Yeah.
So, what's the percentage of virtual music against recorded instruments on your songs? Any virtual tracks?
Yeah. The songs that I do mention that any saxophone that you hear in any of my songs is all virtual. I don't own one, and, I can play a scale or two on a saxophone, but I'm just not that good at it. So, not only do I not have one, but if I did, I probably wouldn't use it. I'm just not good enough at it. So the saxophone is all virtual, and the same is true of the drums. All my drums are virtual. I have a drum set, and I can sort of play them, but I don't have a really good way to record them, or I'm also not that good at them. So, it's all virtual.
I don't think there is a feasible way to record a drum set. It's difficult.
Oh, there is.
Oh, no, there's plenty of good ways to do it. It costs money, and I have a set of crappy drum mics, but I don't have a good way to. I just don't have a good way to do it, and I'm also not good enough at the drums to do it. So I just prefer using the virtual ones because they sound better and they always play in time.
Yeah. When I was taking guitar lessons, sorry.
Unfortunately, they always only play what I tell them to play, which is not always the most creative drumming in the world.
Yeah, true.
Blame the drummer.
There is no drummer. It's virtual.
Yeah,
it's my computer, damn it. You're terrible at the drums.
Yeah, talking about your instruments, because I'm looking here at your Paris Sprite polka cover, and there's a live horn version. What does that mean?
The first version I put out of that, where it just Paris Sprite polka, all of the horn tracks were MIDI.
The virtual.
So all in that version, all of the horns were virtual. The trumpet, trombone, and saxophone were all virtual. And then enough people bugged me about it that I said, okay, fine. And I recorded a real trombone and trumpet track. So the live horn version, the saxophone is still virtual, but the trombone and trumpet in that version, the live horn version, I am actually playing them.
Oh, awesome. And that got 1,256 views. I mean, that is good.
I'm always surprised by the number of views that any of them get.
That's true.
It's always surprising.
Well, you're good, and it's well-deserved.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I have to say, because I can't remember how I found your profile. It was through the Flim Flam Brothers song. And that's the one I fell in love with, because I'm like, I didn't know much about ska. I knew what it kind of was. It was like rock with brass instruments. That's how I looked at it. And
that's a pretty good description.
Rock with brass instruments. So I thought, wow, ska. I gotta hear this. And I heard it and I just fell in love with it. So I subscribed to you on SoundCloud, and I was like, where's he coming up with new stuff? I need to hear all this. He's gonna turn My Little Pony into ska style, probably Rastafari and stuff gonna come out soon.
Rastafarian, man, I think I'm just too white for that.
Well, you could always ask a Jamaican to help.
I wonder if there are any Jamaican bronies. They could be like, wow. You never know.
I don't know. I don't know any, but maybe.
There should be.
Okay, but then this is just a fun question. How many instruments can you play simultaneously? I'm talking like Pinkie Pie, 10 instruments at once kind of thing, but How many can you play simultaneously?
Oh man, maybe 2, if I'm lucky.
Which would they be?
Gosh, what have I done? I guess I could maybe play like trumpet and bass at the same time.
Huh?
Because you can like hammer on the notes with your left hand.
Wait, hammer a bass.
Well, it's a term on guitar when you.
Yeah, no, you can hammer a guitar, but can you hammer a bass? Wow.
Yeah, turn it up.
You can hammer on the notes on bass and then play the trumpet with your right hand. I guess you could do that.
Wouldn't you need like some super strong fingers to do that, like to hammer down a bass? Wow.
Well, I've been playing bass since I don't know, 7th or 8th grade, so.
You should do something with David
strong
Quezada. You should collaborate with David Quezada. Have you heard of him? Bass Beast?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, we'll drop you a link later. You should get in touch with him because he's into orchestral and he's also a bass player.
Well, there you go.
Okay, here first live bass battle between Jesse Carlson and Bass Beast.
80.
Well, though orchestral bass, like an upright, stand-up bass, is one that I don't have. I wish I had one, but I don't, and I'm not really good at it. I've played it before, but I'm not super good at that.
An orchestral bass or an orchestral double bass?
Oh God.
Well, yeah, the orchestral double bass. It's just, I play like electric bass, and I have a fretless electric bass, but it's still so different. And I've played double bass before, but it's not my specialty.
So, do you have any musicians you dream of working with in or outside the fandom?
Working with in or outside the fandom? Outside? Sure, I could say like any number of famous people that would, never happen. I guess that would be kind of the same with anybody. I don't know, inside, yeah, it'd be awesome to do like something with Tombstone. That would be cool. I did a cover. I've done actually 2 covers of his songs. I covered his remix of Summer, and I covered his remix of
Discord?
Beyond Her Garden.
Oh, sorry.
It's funny you mentioned Discord. I started that, and then something shiny showed up, and I got distracted, and it never got beyond the this seems like an amusing idea to me phase.
Okay.
But I think that'd be kind of fun. I kind of like the sound of that Beyond Her Garden, like playing a dubstep song with a live band with horns. It's kind of an interesting, I don't know.
Once you said that it's in the works, people will be clamoring to you saying, "We want Discord, we want Discord."
Well, people had already commented on it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll get right on it."
Discord is becoming very, very well covered. A lot of people are doing it.
Yes,
There's been that, and I've asked Fluttershy's Ass, and which one's the other? Rainbow Factory. So many remixes of these songs.
Rainbow Factory is one I'm just not familiar with. Like, I know it's out there all over the place. I'm just not terribly familiar with it.
It's got a nice chord progression. And yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You I was going to ask another question.
Oh, I was going to say I do like the guys that do the metal songs.
Mayslayer?
Nayslayer's one I had not heard. I was thinking mostly of there's a guy. How do you pronounce it? Shinzim, maybe music, something like that, or like Picky Guy is one I think.
Bronyfied?
Yeah, Bronyfied and Prince. Is it Prince whatever?
Yeah, Prince whatever.
Right? And those are so cool. Like, that's another genre that's like I could maybe sort of do, and I would have to get Ed to help me a lot because he's a lot more into metal than I am. I would love to do a good metal song, but there's certain things about it that I'm not totally sure how to do. Like I still have not figured out how to get a good sounding metal guitar tone. Everything I do, it's like, man, that sounds kind of like crap. It's just kind of thin, or it's just like wimpy. It's just not right. I haven't figured it out yet. So I'd love to be able to do one. It's fun as crap to listen to. Like the one "World Without Rainbows." That was by Shinzim, and man, I hope I'm saying that name right. Shinzim Music, I think. But man, dude, it's that song "World Without Rainbows." Freaking love that song.
So, have you ever performed any of your arrangements with an ensemble?
I have not, actually. I think it'd be fun. I just have to find, a group to do it with.
Well,
have you met Ed in person?
Yeah. Oh, Ed and I grew up together, so we're like BFFs.
well, if you do go to a con, example BronyCon, you could try and do something live there with a group.
Are you going for BronyCon next year?
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's in Baltimore. It's in Baltimore on the 2nd of August, if I'm not mistaken.
That's like way too far in the future for me to think
because,
about. I have no idea.
Musician applications are open. You can apply to perform at Bronypalooza.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, Ed and I had talked about possibly doing it. He wanted to. We tossed around the idea of trying to do something for like Dragon Con in Atlanta, or one of the cons happening somewhere. I've never been to any con of any type anywhere. Not even to Dragon Con here in Atlanta, and so the whole thing would be a completely new experience to me. But yeah, I think it'd be fun as crap to get a real band together and play things, because certainly I could probably find people that are better at playing the horns than I am. I can play the notes on trumpet and trombone, but there are people way better at it than I am.
But that would be amazing, like a whole Brony ska band, and you could do like a solo with the bass and the trumpet.
Man, that'd be a good time if we could do it. It's just a matter of logistics, because there's a lot more physical people involved in doing it than there is for like a electronic show or a one guy with a guitar kind of thing. So I don't know. It'll be fun to do though.
Well, hope you do go to BronyCon, because if you do, I want to see you live, even though if I'm on the live stream.
Still live?
True.
Still live.
You know about Andrew WK, right?
Yes.
What do you think about him?
When the first time I saw him was on Saturday, and I thought, who the hell is this guy? Because it was this guy. I was like, this guy just walked out, and he looks like the crunchiest, like hobo-looking guy. Like, here's this dude. He's got raggedy hair. He's just in a freaking dirty white T-shirt and jeans. He looks like he's just greasy as hell. And then he plays this music where the only lyrics are party. He just said party 30 times in a row. That was the whole song. But you know what? That music is awesome. Because when you listen to it, you're like, what the hell is this? And then eventually you find yourself like, hell yeah, I want to party. Party, 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 party. Man, it's just... the level of energy in that music is through the roof. It's crazy. It's crazy to watch him play. It's crazy to even listen to. It's awesome. Plus, the Pinkie Pie shirt where she's got the Andrew WK on.
Bloody nose.
I did that.
Sorry?
Yeah, in his store, he had a Pinkie Pie shirt with Pinkie Pie having a bloody nose, like in his album.
Oh, in his bloody nose style.
Yeah.
I do like that shirt.
He becoming a brony was really something different for the fandom.
Yeah. It was like, what the hey?
Well, it was like, at first, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm totally wrong, but it seemed like it's the first, like, big celebrity endorsement, I guess that's a good word.
Endorsement.
The first, like, celebrity that's like, hell yeah, My Little Pony's a cool show. Deal with it, you know?
It's positive for once, and like previously we've gotten so much hammering from Fox and all other channels.
True,
right.
true.
Well, to be fair, you can't really trust Fox with a whole lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, I learned that through becoming a brony.
Yeah, Fox is not known for telling the truth.
Indeed. And if I remember right, for the first YouTube repost from a celebrity artist is Weird Al.
I think that's true too. I don't know if he's like, a brony per se, but I think he's been pretty cool with all of it too.
It's true.
He's probably like Skrillex and Deadmau5. We all know they're in denial.
Yeah. For Weird Al, here's an interesting story about him. He and Will Anderson, they worked together before, and he, if I remember right, there's a video up on YouTube where Will Anderson interviewed him, and he has shown interest on being on the show because, hey, Weird Al, basically he's weird. He'll do anything.
Yes.
He was even in that Transformers show, Transformers the animated series. Yeah.
Speaking of people that seem interested in a cameo, oh gosh,
Stan Lee?
Who was it? Stan Lee. Yeah, that whole Stan Lee thing with all the tweets about it.
Oh,
you saw that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes, I did.
That would be so awesome if he did.
I think that's pretty interesting. If he were to show up as, a background character or something, or if he were to have a cameo like his in his own movies, I mean, come on, that would be crazy.
True. I mean, he is the king of cameos.
Hasbro might do something like how Warner Brothers did it for Harry Potter. They had because Harry Potter had a global, big fan base for all the Potter fans, and back then I was also hardcore into Harry Potter. And what happened is they had a competition, global sweepstakes, for a walk-on role for the next Harry Potter, which was at that time, I think, Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
They had just a sweepstakes, and that's not much of anything. Just a walk-on role, get on, be a background character in a Hogwarts uniform.
Yeah, and
I think a sweepstake for that. You got like thousands of applications.
Yeah, I think they would probably put him as something because usually his cameos in his own movies are he's a character doing some mundane task in the background or something.
Yes,
but
true.
That would be awesome if there was some Stan Lee pony in some upcoming episode. Because even on the comic, they had like the Blues Brothers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Up on the balcony, and whatever that guy was down in the corner looked like Ferrari mustache dealership.
Yeah. Dusty Cat.
Oh god.
There's so many little like Easter eggs all over the place,
In the third page and lower, it's like overload.
Yeah, or in what episode was it? One of the CMC episodes with
Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski stuff. That's awesome that stuff is in there.
True. So, Jesse, do you have the comic?
I do not have the comic. I read it online.
Oh, digitally?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So, how do you like it?
I thought it was great. It's very well done. I mean, it's extremely well written. The art is great. It was awesome. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Same here, because I read it and the way they Derpy's eyes was priceless.
Yes, it was, and it's stuff like that in the comic they can, kind of maybe get away with a bit more than they can on the show.
True.
Obviously, and so it's like, oh yeah, they bonk her on the head to make her eyes go cross-eyed. That's
so cute.
Come on, that's a huge thing. Like, hey, fans, check this out.
But do you get the vibe of that comic was meant for kids? Because when I read it, it didn't feel like it was meant for kids. It was like anybody that picked it up would enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it was aimed specifically at the same audience as the TV show. Whereas the TV show is like, hey, this is a kid's show that adults enjoy. I think the comic was more like hey, this is a comic that people will enjoy.
True, because when I read the comic, it felt like, this could be part of Marvel or DC even.
Yeah, it had a feel that they were not so worried about being a kid's comic. It was obviously they were okay with going for an older audience, and not to say like adult audience, like, oh hey, let's make everything bloody and whatever.
WK style.
Oh no.
Yeah, but it was, it's like, oh hey, so our audience age group has moved from 10 to 16 or something. It seemed like they weren't going for being a kid's comic.
Yeah, I mean, it would be teen comic then, like Superman maybe, or Batman.
Yeah. For everyone.
Yeah, and it wasn't. It's not like they're going to put in something that's to make it rated T for teen, but they're not going to make it like rated E7 and under or something.
Basically,
like, oh hey, everything's sunshine and smiles and whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Basically, it's not another Archie comic. Ayo.
Yeah. So, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the fact that, hey, this comic is able to take more liberties and do things that they know fans will enjoy more. Things that they enjoy about the show because it was maybe interpreted that way or whatever. Like, they didn't mean to do this in the show, but it happened. Well, in the comic, yeah, they did it on purpose. And that's the kind of thing that I'm looking forward to.
Indeed. I can't wait for the second chapter.
It should be good.
Yes. Anticipation has been hyped up for me. So moving on to my questions. About your music, what kind of programs do you use to compose music?
I use FL Studio 10 is what I have. I've had FL Studio for years, all through the versions. I think I started with version 5, maybe, when it was still called
that was like 2004 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. When it was still called Fruity Loops is when I got it. And, it was kind of a joke back then. I had no idea what I was doing either. I put together just silly bullcrap patterns of whatever. Like, hey, this thing makes noise. Check it out. And that was about the best I could do. But, honestly, it's turned into a pretty decent little program. And it does. And there's people that say, FL Studio, whatever, you don't want that. But you know what? It does everything that I want it to, and I know how to use it very well. Like, I'm familiar with it, I'm comfortable with it. I've never had a situation where I've gone, oh, gee, I wish I could do this, but this darn program just doesn't allow it. It does everything I want, and so I see no reason to change, because yeah, there are other programs out there that do more things, but I don't need to do more things. Maybe if I upgrade to doing a full studio recording of like 24 tracks at a time, then yeah, sure, I might go to Pro Tools or something. But I'm not doing full-on professional studio recordings. I'm doing I'm a dude sitting in his living room recordings. And so this works just fine for me.
True,
I don't see any reason to upgrade. It does everything I want. Doesn't mess around. I know how to use it. Sounds fine. Whatever.
Probably why all the animators still use Flash 8.
There you go.
My favorite saying is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
No, that's exactly right. And yes, it used to be broke. It used to be kind of a joke. It was not a serious
software.
So it wasn't a serious software in the past, maybe. That's okay, I'll give you that. It wasn't very powerful then. But now, it does all kinds of things. It does plenty. It does exactly what I want it to do. And I see no reason to change. Other than that, I have this Tascam, what is it? Tascam US 800 box. It's just a USB recording interface. It's got, 800, 600. I don't freaking remember. It's got like 6 inputs that are XLR or quarter inch, and same thing. It doesn't function super well because if I use it the way that it's intended, there's a big memory leak with it that apparently no one can figure out how to fix. So if I want to record more than 2 things at a time, I have to just deal with a memory leak. But, I only ever do 1 at a time, so...
It's not a big issue for you then?
Yeah, it's not an issue for me. It works very well. It has level adjustments for every input. There's 6 of them, and all 6 are flexible. It is exactly what I need. It does everything I want. Whatever. No reason to change. So it works out well. As far as instruments that I use, the guitar I use is a Yamaha Pacifica.
Ooh.
The bass that I use, it depends on the song. I have a bass that I don't even know what it is. I bought it at a shop for $180. The only thing that it says on it is GTX. That's the only label on it, so I assume that's the brand name, but I know nothing about it.
We could Google search it later.
But, I think I saw something on Google about that they were made in Australia, and they don't make them anymore, and apparently they'll sell on eBay for $500 or something or another. I don't know. I bought the thing used for $180, and it's freaking awesome. It's lightweight, sounds great, stays in tune, plays nice, everything I want.
Awesome.
I have another one that I just recently bought. It's, what is it? A Rogue bass. Who the heck makes that? I don't know what this company is, but I paid $100 for a 5-string bass. It's like, yeah, that's a little less, but it stays in tune. Like, it plays well. That's a low price for a used instrument, especially a 5-string bass, but it plays well, it sounds good, it stays in tune, and it does everything correct. So there was no need to go and search for a more expensive instrument. Found what I wanted for a low price. So I freaking bought it.
If it works, don't fix it, I guess. And if it works, for the cheap.
Exactly. The most expensive instrument I have ever bought was my 5-string fretless bass. It was, I found it in a guitar shop in Athens, Georgia. And it was this, it's this gorgeous, natural wood finish, neck-through body design. I looked at it and I was like, oh God, this thing probably costs $600, $700. There was no price tag on it. Picked it up, played it. God, this is what I want. So I wanted exactly that. Man, this is so awesome. So I took it up to the counter, just, oh well, let's see the damage. I said, hey man, how much is this bass? Because it's awesome, it looks awesome, feels great, plays great, sounds great, everything's awesome. He goes, oh, that one? That's a used copy of a PV grind that someone took the frets off of. And it'll go for about $210. I said, oh, really? $210? Well, here's my credit card. So, and $210, that's the most I paid for an instrument.
Wow. It's still not that much.
I like to think that I'm 2 things at once, I'm a man and I'm a pretty smart shopper. So,
that is good.
It helps. I got these cheap-ass instruments that just happen to sound okay, and they play great, stay in tune. That's really all I can ask for,
True. Staying in tune is always important because if you need to tune it back, it's eating up to your creativity time.
Well, yeah, and that's like with the Walmart instruments. Yeah, they cost cheap, but they don't stay in tune. They're not in tune. You try and play, and it's terrible. And there are plenty of cheap guitars that are the same way. You play 3 or 4 notes, and it's out of tune again. You play 1 chord, sounds great. Play the next chord, sounds like poop.
I thought it's the strings that cause that.
It can be. It can be the strings, but it can also be the instrument itself. the design of the neck, the shape of the neck, the placement of the frets, I don't know if I said shape, but the way the bridge is set, the way the neck is set. There's a lot of factors that go into it. And on a cheaper instrument, it's either nothing you can do about it, or just, you'll have to adjust it endlessly, and you'll never find a good way to set it. But on a good instrument, if it's like, hey, this one thing is just not quite right, everything else is good, but one thing is not quite right, well, you'll be able to fix it, and it's easy to do, or you shouldn't have to do it.
I mean, me and my friends wanted to do junkyard instruments, and I had a classical guitar in my house, and we thought, let's try and do the craziest thing we've ever done. So we strung it up with one classical nylon wound string, an acoustic brass wound, electric string. Then the last 3 strings on the guitar were, one was a badminton racket string, a nylon wound string, and a fishing string. And it was perfectly in tune. It worked.
Oh, God.
So that's probably, the instrument itself was mechanically sound. And so when you strung those up, it could hold it.
Yeah, it was a Yamaha, so yeah, it could hold.
That is a funny story, a badminton string. My goodness.
Because somebody in my school was just playing badminton, his racket broke and he just tossed it out, and I was like, can I have the string? I want to try something.
I can't say I've heard of someone using a badminton string on a guitar.
I use badminton, nylon, and fishing string.
Oh, God. Fishing string.
I have heard of one of my friends used his old 12-string guitar as a canoe oar. He got stranded. He lost both of them somehow in the water and had to either park or row to the shore.
Oh, well, at least the guitar saved his life.
I would have swam.
It ended up as a 9-string guitar.
But it still works?
Yeah, no, it still works. I mean, we played it all the time. Said, oh yeah, one time I rode myself to shore with this guitar.
This guitar saved my life.
Survival story.
Okay.
Anyway, guys, I'm really, really sorry. I have to go right now because I need to go and run some errands and drive people around.
Alright, it's cool.
Well,
so
have it's a good chat,
Yeah, thanks. So sorry I couldn't stay on because, I'm a big fan and love to chat with you.
Oh, no, it was a great chat. This was a fun time.
Okay, then.
bye.
Guys. Bye.
Yeah, rowing your boat with guitars.
Oh, my. So, how often do you do collaborations?
I used to not at all. Like the first, bunch of songs that I put out, were just either by me alone or me, and then Ed sang the vocals for them or sang with me. But the last 2 or 3 songs that I've put out have all been collaborations. It was fairly recent, that it even happened that people were like, hey, would you be interested in doing something together? And, I always say yes. It's like, of course I want to. That'd be fun, because I had never done it before.
Awesome. Because, from what I can...
Recent.
Sorry?
I said, it's fairly recent that I've been doing them. And they've been fun,
Because I've seen that you've done CMC featuring Eve Dog, EV Dog. How do you say?
I think it's F Dog.
F Dog, and then a Moon Ballad that featuring the runner. Ooh,
yeah,
the runner 1230. Yeah, I love that song, and this one is a confusing one for me. Who did this one?
The Moon Ballad one.
Yeah,
that one was one that he originally did. He put it out, and it was just solo guitar and voice. So just him by himself, guitar and vocal, did that song. But it was kind of, in this sort of style. Like it was all, upbeat guitar and this and that. And so he said, hey, would you be interested in doing a collaboration? here's some of the songs that I've done. Would you maybe want to do this one? I said, yeah, this one sounds great. Sounds like it would be actually totally perfect. And so with the Moon Ballad song, he said, okay, great, let's do that. And I took it and I wrote out the full arrangement for it, as a full ska band arrangement. And then we decided who would do what in the final version, who would play what or do this and that. And he ended up playing the guitar, bass, and clarinet for it. And I played trumpet, trombone, and I sang it and programmed the drums for it. And so it was fairly evenly split between the two of us, and I think it turned out really well. He's a great guitar player, good bass player. The clarinet turned out really well. I liked the way it sounded on that. And it was a really fun track to do.
Yeah.
The song itself was fun. The vocals kind of gave me a little trouble. I don't think I'm the best singer in the world or anything, so it was a little bit difficult to do, and I even put out on my SoundCloud the second verse of it. The first time I did it, for some reason, became possessed by Rick Astley and did like 80s style version of it. Why? But it just happened that way. But it was really fun to do, and I was really happy with the way that one turned out. It's a very chill song. I do wonder if anyone noticed, though, that the trumpet part that I played was just the Olympic theme song.
Now that you mention it, we all need to listen to it.
Well, there have been a couple of things that I've done where I'm like, I wonder if anyone will notice this. Like in Gypsy Book, during the third verse, when there's little, horn snippets in the Gypsy Bard cover I did, the first little horn snippet is a clip of the Pinky's Brew theme, and then the second one is the Friendship is Witchcraft theme. And I don't know if anybody noticed that, or if they did, then they just didn't care. I don't know.
I did not notice that. Wow, you're opening my eyes to things that I need to.
It's subtle, It's not like, hey, look at this. But it was one of those things that I consciously did. It wasn't because there are several things that I've done before. I'm like, hey, this sounds good. Oh wait, that's totally this other thing. But that one I was like, oh, this would be cool to try and work these two in there somehow. So that one I at least consciously did.
So
the one in A Moon Ballad, I played that and I went, oh crap, that's totally the Olympic theme song. But I just left it in because
it works. So here's a random question that just came out of that. How many songs have you inserted Easter eggs in?
Off the top of my head, maybe just those two. Not a whole ton. I'm not as clever as I might seem, but I like to do it when I can. It's always fun to try and put something kind of, hey, if you were listening, you might have heard this type thing. But yeah, it might be just those two. Maybe one or two others. I don't remember.
Hey, in the Big Brother Best Friends Forever song, did you use the deceptive cadence in it?
No, I didn't, because the version I have of it on my SoundCloud is a straight up cover of the one that Music by Octavia did, and he did not. It ends with a authentic cadence, or not? Yeah, authentic cadence.
Ah, okay.
So
I was just wondering because everybody knows that Big Brother Best Friends Forever has the deceptive cadence, so I thought that you might insert that in.
No, I didn't. And maybe if I ever actually finish that, with like live horns and whatever, maybe I'd throw it in as it's a cover of a cover of a cover, and make it my own version by adding like one thing to it.
Oh god.
I thought that was extraordinarily clever that they did that in the original. The fact that they threw in, and I was really happy that other people picked up on it and was like, oh, a deceptive cadence because cadence is being deceptive.
Oh, that's smart.
I thought that for songwriting, that is extraordinarily good. That's very good.
Yeah, that's smart thinking because, like, if people in the know of music, they'll pick it up, but they won't understand it until they see near the end, and then, like, their mind will be blown.
Right. It's one of those things you go, oh, that was a cool ending, and then you're like, oh.
It's true. Reminds me of the thing with Twilight. Basically, the intro, like, on the longest day of the 1,000 years, a star will aid in her escape. Have you ever wondered that?
Was this just recently put out that the stars will aid in her escape? And then it was like, oh wait, Twilight Sparkle has stars all over her, and Nightmare Moon wasn't the prisoner, she was the prison.
Yeah.
The stars, being Twilight, aided in Luna's escape.
Yeah. I mean, like, oh my god, like, what?
Who thinks of that? Come on.
Well, now that I really think about it, like, oh my god, that is so true.
I have a feeling that maybe that one wasn't as intended as the deceptive cadence, but it does totally work.
Yeah, but I think this was written by Lauren Faust, and Lauren Faust never leaves anything behind.
That's true.
And now that she left it, people are speculating, and, well, it's logical. It's all logical. And
that's true. When I read it, I was like, what is this talk? Whoa. I think even the picture itself has the guy with his brain exploding.
Yep, that's the one, and it's so true.
That was a little bit how I felt. That's true.
It's true. Okay, and my final question is, what was your reaction when you were invited on to our show?
It's always a surprise to me. Again, it's always a surprise to me that, people enjoy the same silly things I do and then want to talk to me about them or, want to hear more and this and that. And it's always surprising because, like I said, it's usually just, hey, this would amuse me. And so when other people go, oh, it also amused me as well. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool then. Like I put out stuff that I think is funny or interesting, entertaining, whatever. And when other people say the same thing, you guys said, hey, I love your stuff. I want you on my show. Oh, really? Okay, awesome. I'd love to come on and talk about the silly things that I do.
This is awesome because I personally, and well, Daniel said that he is a big fan. Like, I really like your style of music because A, it's not been done to death, and B, it's rare.
That's true. It is rare, and it's one of those kind of weird feelings right now. Like, I wish more people would do it because it's cool and fun to do, and I would love to see more people do it, get into ska and that genre and have fun with it. But at the same time, it's like, no, it's mine. Don't do it. I'm the one that does it. You can't do that. I don't know. It's a weird
Catch-22 feeling.
Weird, like, halfway, like, oh yeah, everyone should do this. At the same time, no, it's my thing. You don't do it.
I know. I mean, I could be considered as a fanboy saying, oh, yeah, I mean, like, Jesse Carlson does it well. You're just a copycat. But in reality, I want more.
Yeah, no, I would love to see other people do it. And I would, admittedly, I would totally be like, you're doing this too? Well, but yeah, no, I totally want to see other people do it because it's so freaking fun to do. It's totally a non-serious genre. Like, how can you take it seriously? I mean, everything about it's just fun to do. So there's nothing going on it's just, how can you not like it? It's fun to do. It's fun to listen to. Everyone that listens to it is like, man, this is great. Or, I don't know what this is, but I'd like to learn more. Please instruct me, point me to the nearest library or something.
True.
And I'd love to see more people get into it beyond just listening. Like, I'd love to see more people do it.
That's true, because ska music is rare. Like I said, it's rare. And if a lot of people do it, that'll be awesome. But at the same time, if a lot of people do it, then it'll be mediocre and meh.
Why are you doing my thing? Get out of here.
And also that too.
Which is a totally stupid feeling to have. I know that, but it's one of those, like, I'm a human being, so, sorry.
Yeah, that's true. I don't blame you. I personally feel that, no, you cannot do it. Only Jesse Carlson can do it. Ah.
Well, I mean, I guess that's the same as anybody that's been, saying, like, oh, I'm the only one doing this because I'm so cool. No, I'm not. I'm not cool. I'm not a cool person. Come on. Like, I hate taking, like, personal credit for stuff. Like, oh, yeah, I'm the pioneer. No, don't look at me,
Look away from me. Look away.
But it's like, yeah, I guess I am the only one doing it. But, like I said, 2 or 3 times, I'd love to see more people doing it. I think it'd be great. I don't know why more people don't. Or even electronic versions of it. Do some cross-genre stuff. Because to me, that's my favorite kind of music, is when you make a cross-genre song work. Like, if you do a ska song, but all the instruments are electronic, and it still sounds really cool, like, that's freaking awesome. Because you took something that's traditionally this way, and you made it this other way, but it still sounds kind of like way A. Like, that's awesome to me. That's what I really love hearing.
True. I mean, I could say the same thing goes for 8-bit music. Like, if somebody did a ska cover of 8-bit music, that would be awesome.
Or an 8-bit ska song.
that
would also be awesome.
That would be rare and hard to do, but if it's out there, I would love to hear it.
I mean, a lot of the 8-bit songs are already that good upbeat type feel, so it would fit right in. Why not?
True. Well, those are my questions. So Jesse, you have any questions for us or for me?
None that I can think of.
Okay, that's cool. I tend to ask this question to our guests because, well, we've been asking questions for almost, oh my god, it's almost run for 2 hours.
Hey, good conversation never gets old, man.
True. Who knows, you have questions for me, but seems like you don't have any for me. That's cool. So Jesse, where can they reach you?
Where can they reach me? You can look for my YouTube channel. YouTube/JCarlson04. I think that's right. If that's not right, just search for JCarlson04.
That's right.
And the SoundCloud is soundcloud.com/Jesse-Carlson1. I believe that's correct.
Yep, it is.
It's not just Jesse Carlson, it's Jesse Carlson 1, because I'm number 1. That's right. Yeah. So, yeah, those are my 2 pages that I post. The YouTube is mostly for, like, definite final versions of things that have video to go with them. The SoundCloud, I post a lot of
in progress
a lot of garbage too.
I wouldn't say that.
Things that I'm like, hey, someone might want to hear this other than me. I don't know. I'll post it. Demos, unfinished, works in progress. When I say work in progress, I really mean like work in dead end. But yeah, there's a lot more stuff on the SoundCloud than there is on YouTube. So if you're interested, check it out as well. Many things that are not ska, so beware.
That's okay. It's cool. Awesome. So, do you have any Twitter or Facebook, maybe?
I do not. No official channels of any sorts.
So how could they reach you if they want to talk to you?
Either the YouTube or SoundCloud accounts are fine. you can send me a message on either one of those, and I will reply, or if you don't want to reply, then I'll be like, all right, cool. Either way. But you can send me a message on either one of those.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. And moving on, I guess we're done. Thanks again, Jesse, for being on my show.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. It was a good time.
It was a great honor for us to have you on because, like I said personally, I love the ska music.
Well, I am very glad to hear that.
Thank you. You're welcome. Wow, I'm derpy right now. Curse you, that pig. Anyway, if you have any questions, concerns, or suggestions for the show, or you just want to email us, you can contact us at the mbsshow@gmail.com. You can also reach us on Twitter. The show's Twitter account is at the MBS Show. I'm at Norman Sanzo. And Dan's is at Saint Pinky, STPINKIE. And also, please subscribe and rate us on iTunes. And also, like our Facebook page. Links will be provided in the show notes. So, I've been Norman Sanzo.
And I've been Jesse Carlson.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
The rise of the sun, the princess graces her magic upon us. The bright lit glow will surely show the beauty of the sky. Though it will end, we've had our fill of light. The night begins, filling the land with darkness inside. Times are coming slowly, a chill in the air. All are asleep for now. Whoever thought the world would have a jealous princess again? Oh, Luna, don't fall in your troubles. You're too good for that, you know. That you shall always be the shining queen upon the moon and stars. Your face is dear as always, but your heart is so far. Please forever show your glow. Twinkle and the moon dance. Come on and start that lovely trance. Your sister has all the fun, but why can't you be the one to stand out and shine? Oh, Luna, can't you see? You're the only true one for me, only one for me. Oh, Luna, don't fall in your troubles. You're too good for that, you know. That you shall always be the shining queen upon the moon and stars. Your face is here as always, but your heart is so far. Show your glow, forever show your glow.
You know, Rainbow Factory is one I'm just not familiar with. Like, I know it's out there all over the place. I'm just not terribly familiar with it.
It's got a nice chord progression.
What was the one? Just thinking of one.
Is it from Friendship is Witchcraft?
I don't remember. Total blank. Mind. I don't remember. Delete that. I can't remember.
No problem, we'll do.
Total brain fart.